So it's going to start recording now, I think.
There we go. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is just something Mr. du Toit and myself had an idea on, that we'd share just a few pertinent questions that you have been asking us and the SRC. We thought perhaps just to give you guys some clarity would be a good point for the start of the term, and if all things go well, perhaps we could carry this on into the term. As you would have seen from yesterday, you would have received a message on your house WhatsApp groups from the SRC and Saad. That would have taken you to a link where you would have put your questions down. That would have been answered in this, hopefully. So, Mr. du Toit, we have 6 questions that we are hoping to get through. I know in the interest of time, we may not answer all of them, but in saying that, let's see how we go. And yeah, if you would like to say anything, please do. Feel free to.
Sure. Great. Thanks. Thanks, Devon. I think it's a great idea, and I'm very happy to do this and comfortable, and nice to connect with you and hopefully with the boys now as well. But yeah, go for it. You ask the questions and I'll give it my best shot.
Perfect. Okay. So one of the most pertinent questions that we had was, what is the current situation with exams? Will we be writing prelims? And have you heard anything regarding the NBTs that we may have to write for university applications?
Okay. Good. Yeah, Dev. So we definitely have a plan to write prelims. At the moment, if you listened to the minister last week, she spoke about the fact that they're canning the June exams, but that we are going to continue with the prelims, and that the prelim will still form part of the SBA, so your portfolio for the end of the year. So absolutely, we still have to write those. I think we have to look at the timing to make sure we get those, and we will write them exactly the same dates as the girls' college. So we've been liaising a lot to be actually working towards the same timetable, and probably quite a lot of shared papers between the two colleges as well. So yeah, definitely write prelims. Probably touch and go as to whether we'll try and make up some of the test series that you guys missed. But that's going to really depend on when we're actually able to physically come back and make some of those things up. The IAB have communicated with us that the SBAs are going to be adjusted. We don't know exactly what they're going to look like yet, but there will be some adjustments. So we'll see. And then the NBTs still continue. They have adjusted the dates. So if you go onto the website, you'll see that they've adjusted the dates for the NBT. They've put there more dates now, and they push them later. And the more dates because they need more venues, so there's more social distancing when we're writing. But universities are still looking at them. In fact, there's a communication going out from Mrs. Smith, who's currently looking at our careers and our universities. Entrances, and she's put together a lovely document. I think it's going out tomorrow to the grade 12s. In fact, each university there's got some information about the changes in their admissions criteria, etc., and also information about NBTs.
Okay, perfect. Question number 2 that we had was, is there any risk of not finishing the syllabus this year?
At the moment, the Umalusi instruction to us is that we have to finish the curriculum as it was planned. We haven't lost that much school time this year that we are going to lose time. We can still make it up over weekends. We can give up some holidays, etc. But at Stithians, currently our HODs are very happy with where we are in terms of curriculum. A lot of it was covered in grade 11. And quite a lot of it was due to be finished around about half term. So I think if we can get stuck in and do good, valuable work with our online program, and then when you come back to onsite, we're pretty confident that we're not going to have an issue. And do remember, I think we're probably way ahead of most other schools, in terms of the onsite ability of you as boys and obviously of our staff. So I don't think at this stage we will finish the curriculum unless Umalusi recognizes that we've lost too much time and the state schools won't finish. Then they'll tell us, and the IAB will then adjust the curriculum. So at the moment, we still don't finish everything.
Okay, all right. Is there a possible date that we will return to on-site learning?
Yeah, look, I mean, so obviously from the state side, the announcement by the minister last week, the proposal, and I must emphasize proposal, and it's frustrating because we all just want clarity. But the proposal is the 1st of June that matrics can return to school. For us, Dev, importantly, we're trying to understand two things. The one is, what is the definite instruction now? Is Cabinet approving that proposal? Because I hear the unions are still sort of grappling with it a little bit, etc. So we're waiting for clarity. And then secondly, we're waiting for clarity from ISASA, the Independent Schools Association, to say, what flexibility do we have as an independent school? Could we come back earlier? Could we come back later? Could we come back with grade 11s and 12s? What are the options that independent schools have? Because obviously the minister is mainly speaking on behalf of the state schools, although obviously all of us fall under the Minister of Education. So we don't, we frantically want some clear instruction so we can make definite decisions. We are ready for whatever is thrown at us. Our on-site preparation is excellent. But at the moment, unfortunately, I can't help you. I can't give you an answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just perhaps a follow-up question on that. Would you, by any chance, could you explain possibly how the on-site learning would go in terms of classroom and social distancing?
Sure. Yeah, look, I think what we can do, Dev, maybe if this works, we can do a conversation with Mr. Hartley next week, because he specifically has that set of tasks. But yeah, we'd have to do social distancing. We'd have to wear masks. We wouldn't be able to have 25 boys in a class if we're going to have 2 meters between desks. So we'd have to split classes up differently. I don't foresee us having a tuck shop, because other than a queue that goes across into top kind of a thing. What does hot lunch look like? All these kind of things. Break times, we can't hang out tightly together. Sport is still obviously not possible. Yeah, we'd have to apply the rules as they are and the regulations. But yeah, let's see. I think what happens, but we have got all those things in place. When you arrive at school, you'd all come through one spot. You'd have your temperature taken with a laser thermometer. All those kind of things that are expected for safety and health. But our priority would have to be that you need to feel safe to come to school.
Yeah.
If we're saying we're opening, you and your mom and dad must feel, man, I know that the school's doing everything humanly possible to ensure my boy is okay. And we've got to take that responsibility. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
There was a question surrounding the situation with the reports and what marks will be used. Could you just clarify on that?
Sure. So the marks that will be used for your reports, well, firstly, the reports are coming out as, you know, the plan from the beginning of the year was the reports come out after the first 2 weeks of term 2. Obviously, the reason for that is usually because at the end of term 1, you write that big set of tests and mark them over the holidays. When you come back, we give you the marks back. You grapple for a few more marks. Many of you will argue for, you know, the marking or whatever. And then we can pick up your marks and then we put them into a report, which then also has a parent meeting. And so the parent meeting is still going to go ahead on the 19th. The reports will be released on the 18th of May, which is well in advance. We've got more than enough time for UCT. UCT, remember, is the only university that requires a term 1 report for some of their faculties, not all the faculties. For most of the other universities, you guys can apply already. I'm sure you have already. Yeah, and then the marks will be made up of all the tasks and assessments that you did in term 1. Obviously, for some, it might be inflated if they did really well in their classwork, etc., because you did miss out on some big tests toward the end of the term. But yeah, that's what it will be made up of. The marks will be authentic, and UCT, you'll have more than enough time to get the application.
Okay. Will there be a matric dance? I know a few of us are asking this question.
Yeah, look, I mean, we'd love there to be one. I mean, I think we'd love you guys to have B2K and fun events at the end of year and a matric dance, and we will keep adjusting the dates. We'll keep trying to find flexibility to try and give you guys a couple of highlight moments in your matric year for sure. Even sport, you know, looking and sort of saying what's the latest we can still hang in there to try and do something without enticing the boys and dangling a carrot in front of them. I mean, we're trying. So at the moment, obviously, we can't have gatherings. That's a very clear instruction from the state. If that clears up and we get to level 1 at some point, maybe. But I also don't want people to be spending tens of thousands of rands on something that might not happen. We've got to find balance. And I think once we get clarity from the ministry now, we can maybe start making some decisions about things like that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then the final question that came up What will happen to those who could have received honours at the end of term 1? And will there be another chance for honours recipients in term 2?
Sure. Okay. So number one, the summer sports and the awards were actually finished. In other words, we awarded them, but the week that we were supposed to announce them was the week that we shut. So we then had to make a decision between the girls' schools and ourselves. Are we going to hand them out online, or obviously we were hoping to do it physically in a chapel. If we're not going to be back at school for a long time, then we probably will have to do the summer sports awards, the term 1 awards online, because those criteria were met and we can do that. We obviously, for the winter sports awards, if we don't play winter sports, I mean, you can't really do awards for it. But we are looking at all sorts of other options to try and recognize people for what they've done, the contributions they've made in the school. I think for community engagement, culture, etc., we are also looking at various ways in which we could. We're making a proposal to the director, Dr. James and I, to say, well, can we adjust the criteria a little bit to try and be as fair as we can without sort of saying, well, everybody getting an award, kind of a thing. So yeah, we have thought about that. Mr. Fulyun is your champion there, and he, Mrs. Princely from the Girls' College have been meeting about that, and they've just produced a document of a proposal for us. I got it over the weekend, so we'll study it more and then get back to you guys as far as that goes. But the guys who got their awards for term 1, it's just a matter of making a time when we can announce them. The criteria were fulfilled, and therefore they earned the awards.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir.
It's a pleasure, Dev, and yeah, hopefully this will work. I'll send it out to the matrics this evening, and see if it works well. We'll do it again next week sometime.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.